Welcome back, everyone. Today we have a very interesting location to visit. We're going to be going to a very unique museum in St. Joseph, Missouri, about 1 hour north of Kansas City. The museum is located in a building that was built in the 1960s. However, it was at one point part of the larger campus of the hospital, officially known as the State Lunatic Asylum No. 2, when it started in 1874. When I arrived, I noticed that the buildings from the old asylum had barbed wired fencing around it, and that's because it's now a prison for inmates who have been deemed to have mental health issues. But this building in particular, the one that's abandoned and that is clearly falling apart, really stood out to me. I mean, I'm not much of a movie watcher, but it was quite eerie. But we're not here for the prison. Instead, we're here to visit the Glore Psychiatric Museum, which is named after this man, George Glore. He was a 41-year employee of the hospital, and in 1968, during Mental Health Awareness Week, he, along with patients and carpenters, made replicas of devices from the 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries, which were used to treat mental illness. His work was so impressive, the hospital staff told him he should open a museum, and so the Glore Museum was born. While reading the descriptions of the different objects we're going to see, there definitely was a common theme. These devices were made to make the patient calm down or snap out of their delusions, usually in ways that nowadays we would definitely call cruel and inhumane. But it's important to learn from history, so let's discover together. The museum also has some interesting stories from the days of the asylum. For example, the writings you see here are part of what one patient did. They're a collection of letters as well as what appears to be a daily diary system. The patient then put these notes into the back of a television set. When the television was finally opened, there were 525 pages in it. Some of the writings included some of the patient's delusions. Why did he put them in the television set? No one knows. Now, what you're seeing isn't part of an arts and crafts collection. These actually came from the stomach of a female patient who died at the asylum in 1910. The cause of death was listed as kidney infection. However, the autopsy reported that there were multiple objects in her stomach. Altogether, they retrieved a grand total of 1,446 items, ranging from bolts and nails to pieces of jewelry. Now, the issue of hoarding, or the collection of large amounts of items or trash, is still an issue to this day. This one patient had a large collection of neckties. However, he also amassed a collection of 108,000 cigarette packages. Why did he do this? He thought that with 100,000 packages, the hospital could get a free wheelchair. This unfortunately was just his delusion. However, the hospital administration, recognizing his efforts, did donate a wheelchair to the hospital. And now the main feature of the museum, the replicas. What you're seeing here is a tranquilizer chair. The disturbed patient would be completely immobilized in it, and the doctor who invented it would also do other things, such as bloodletting and putting their feet in scalding hot water while adding ice packs to their head. Now this one's called a bath of surprise. What they used to do was put the disturbed patient on top of it, and then without warning, a trap door would open and the patient would fall into the big tub of cold water. Now, what we will see here is known as a hollow wheel. The patient, who could be freed at times in order to satisfy his physical needs, could spend generally between 36 to 48 hours inside of it. And unless he stayed absolutely still, he would have to continuously run forwards or backwards. And like many of the items here, this was done in order to calm down the disturbed person or make someone wake up from their delusional thoughts. There are some displays from the 20th century, but definitely the older displays are the most interesting. Of course, some past treatments of the mentally ill have been harmful. An interesting book, if you want to read more about it, is 10 Days in a Madhouse by Nellie Bly. Before we leave the museum, there's one more surprise for you that you may not be expecting. It's the bathrooms. They are themed. This one is about illusions. This one dedicated to the legendary Sigmund Freud. The third one being the haunted bathroom. And also one dedicated to phobia. Not good if you have the fear of clowns. That's all for this one, folks. Thanks again for joining and hope to see you soon.